What's up, everyone? It is Diecastbuffet here again. Guys, we have a year 2000 Mike Skinner number 31 Lowe's car in the studio today. One of the cool nostalgic paint schemes of the early 2000s, and we'll be doing a diecast review on it. Without further ado, let's get a closer look at the packaging. All right, folks, rotating base out of the studio. How y'all doing out there, fellas? Feel free to comment down below how your day is going. And we got a gem in the studio. This is a year 2000 Mike Skinner, and a lot of people forget that Lowe's was actually at Childress Racing before they sponsored Jimmy Johnson. And they would be a part of the Childress camp up until 2001, when people forget that Robbie Gordon won in that 31 Lowe's car at New Hampshire. So Winter Circle in year 2000 with Hasbro, they had a bunch of subcategories for their main retail line. And this was the sneak preview series. It had 8 different drivers. This is probably something you would see before the Daytona 500. This is probably maybe January, who knows. I do notice a pretty substantial amount of sponsor areas that have no sponsors on it. So that really makes me believe this could be a very, very early release of the Mike Skinner 2000 car. So the packaging design, amazing, but it's got some damage to it. You can see pretty much a marking right here. I'm not sure what happened there. You can see a little bit of some bending on the corners, and the plastic dome is a little bit yellowed. You can see right here. I don't think the die cast is yellowed, fortunately. There is some damage right here. This thing was probably dropped, whether it was when it was in the retail store or maybe in someone's collection, and it fell down and it bent the plastic. So my point is, this is a good one to open up, and you can see where a retail tag was and someone peeled it off. There's still, it's not sticky, but you could see kind of like the paper from the tag where it was years ago. Here's the back panel of the diecast, and of course, you got another tag there. So, I mean, it's kind of funny, you know, these diecasts, if they could talk, the stories they could tell. And one of the most nostalgic card backs to me is the year 2000's, year 2000 Hasbro NASCAR Racers piece. I mean, just look at that. That is just, it's so nostalgic, man. It is so nostalgic. Still looks like the Thor Sport font on a Hot Wheels car, but that's besides the point. Now, I said it was a part of a kind of a sub category. It has collect all 8 sneak preview 1/64 scale diecasts. Now, these were drivers that were already, I think, signed to race in year 2000. I don't know why the M&M's one doesn't have a driver. This is not something uncommon that diecast factories would do, is they would just print a little sticker and put it over the cardboard. They still do this type of stuff to this day. In fact, a NASCAR Winter Circle, not Winter Circle, but Authentics line wave from 2023, I think it was, one of the cars actually had a sticker over it that covered it up on the little back panel when it shows the cars. I forget which wave it was. So if this was a late entry for year 2000 and they had to make a last minute change, that would explain why it just says M&M's brand. It doesn't say Kenny Schrader or whoever. When I'm editing this video, I might do a little fact checking. I don't know. If I'm incorrect on any of the info in this video, please forgive me. I mean, this diecast came out 25 years ago, guys. So, I mean, look, I'm not going to pretend I'm the smartest mallard in the pond, guys. So, regardless, I'm going to go ahead and open up this diecast. Yes, it's an overproduced one. All good. I'll be right back. All right, folks, brand new out of the packaging. It had to wait about 25, maybe 26 years, and here we go. So this was a brand new diecast mold for year 2000, which was these Monte Carlos. Drastically different than the 1999. So year 2000 for the Chevrolet camp was a really big deal. They marketed the crap out of it, and this was a huge thing for NASCAR at the time. And as I mentioned, a lot of people forget about the Lowe's era at Childress. People forget that Lowe's actually sponsored Dale Earnhardt early in his career. He was an associate side sponsor on his car. Let's go to the front of the diecast here. You have Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse. The plastic I mentioned, I don't think it was yellowed. From what I could see, I don't see any yellowing at all. Just another testament to the amazing quality that Winter Circle had back then. Fantastic job. To make a diecast that can survive that long with plastic, I mean, plastic's one of the cheapest things you can produce, right? These are the economy line, so to speak. This is one of the cheapest products that Action, Winter Circle, whoever would make. And for it to last that long without yellowing is remarkable. So the whole car paint scheme is pretty simple. It's mostly blue, but the whole bottom side skirt is yellow. And it's actually a pretty nice paint scheme. It's simple. I like it. Let's go to the front of the diecast. You have Monte Carlo. Then you have, I think that's Richard Childress Racing or something. It should say Childress. Got the number 31 there. Now, this is something that I think is another telltale sign this is a very early release, because the headlight decal is supposed to have the number in it. I don't remember how they did it for 1999, but the number 31 should have been on this headlight, and the team logo. I think the team logo can be optional, but I think the driver number has to be within the headlight. At least every diecast I can remember from the early 2000s was like that. And this was something that was very common back then. You would have a brand new driver, a brand new sponsor, and they would get a diecast made ASAP. And by the time it got to the racetrack, it was completely different. This is back when they would make diecasts, compared to nowadays in 2025, probably 6 months to a year in advance. That's how much faster things were. It's got STP there, Boog, Clavite, Prestone. Not sure what that one is. Simpson, maybe? Elderbrock, Plastalac, Union 76, and Wix air filters. Go to the left side of the diecast, and as I mentioned at the top of the video, there's a substantial amount of the car that is kind of bare. There is no logos on the deck lid, the rear bumper panel, the quarter panel, and then this side panel here, which is, again, another super telltale sign that this was a super early release, and maybe they were still negotiating with different sponsors and whatnot. Got Mike Skinner right there. I got year 2000 decal. You get your B-Post logos. AC Delco, Lowe's, number 31. Love that 31 font. Really cool. Got part of the side skirt here. On the real car, I think the side skirt is supposed to be there as well, but on the Action/Winter Circle mold, they didn't put the extra side skirt panel there. Something like that. Got the little side skirt, got bootleg Winston Cup logo, Bud Pole Award, Hasbro, Union 76, Goodyear, EA Sports. You got Holly 3M, Comp, Bowman, Jessel. Not sure what that blue decal is. Spicer, Autometer. I mean, just so many retro decals. So cool. Go to the back panel of the diecast, and again, it's bare bones. It looks like a career mode car on one of the NASCAR Thunder games. Now, one thing I noticed is you can see how the side panel has a pretty substantial change in the yellow. I think I know what happened here. It kind of looks like it had a repair job. You know, it got beat up and they bondoed the metal on the car. They're about to like prime it with paint or something, or prime over it. That's what it kind of looks like. But if I had to guess, this portion is actually decal right here on the side panel, but the rear portion of the car is actually paint masked, because you can see just a very soft haze of yellow on the deck lid. My point is that the paint is going to be a little bit brighter. Probably painted the yellow portion of the car first, and when they went to wrap it in the factory, the yellow decal would go over it and they would look a little bit brighter, or vice versa. That's my best theory with that. And another thing that's really, you can tell that this is probably an early production, is they chose the black 31 on the back panel, and it blends in kind of too much. You can barely see it. It looks cool if it was maybe on Robbie Gordon's, singular wireless car from '02, but it almost blends in completely like it's camouflaged. That was probably something I imagine they would change later on. Go to the right side of the diecast, and just what a beautiful looking paint scheme, though. I don't know if they've run a Darlington throwback to it, but man, that would make a cool one for sure. Very simple paint scheme, but it works, man. Some of these simple paint schemes, they just work. It's like the Sterling Marlin car. It's silver, some mountains at the bottom of the car, and bright red. It's simple. The Haviland Jimmy McMurray paint schemes. It's a black car, some red, and that's it. It's simple. I like it. Top of the diecast, you have the number 31. Once again, a little bit of a blemish there. Again, they made so many of these freaking diecasts. I couldn't tell you how many they made, but if I had to guess, probably north of 30 to 50,000. That's just my best guess. If you look at the Elite 164s, I say Elite, but kind of the total concept action line, the production tag says about 30,000 guesstimate average on a lot of them. And then you look at some of the like Hot Wheels promo diecasts from like 2001. They some of the NASCAR ones, it says 1 of 10,000, like on a Matt Kenseth promo. 10,000 being considered a exclusive diecast, a low production thing, is asinine when you compare it to nowadays when most diecasts get about 2,500 produced. So my point mentioning that is, if back in 2001 or early 2000 or whatever, if 10,000 was considered a low production amount, that means the average amount for these diecasts was significantly higher than that. That's my guesstimate, like 50,000 for them, right? Because if you're going to advertise only 1 of 10,000, naturally, there needs to be a lot more to kind of offset that. Here's the bottom panel of the diecast. I always found this interesting. Most of these Action Winter Circle Monte Carlos from 2000 to 2002, when they ran this body style in the Cup Series, almost all of them have a hole in the bottom chassis where a base would be mounted to them. That's very weird how almost all of them have that. I don't know why. I guess it made it more simple, but very few of them actually were made with a base. I mean, if you look across the board, almost all of them did not come with a base. Check this out right here. Mike Skinner, Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse, year 2000 Chevrolet Monte Carlo. You got Mike Skinner there. A lot of people remember him driving the Kodak car, his career in the NASCAR Truck Series. Got NASCAR 2000, got the number 31, got the Winter Circle hat. Got an awesome photo there. Go to the back panel of the diecast. And just a lot of amazing detail they have right here on the back panel. I wish they did something like this nowadays. Just giving the fans, some simple detail about the driver. Like, okay, their birthday, their hometown, stuff like that. Those are the things I appreciated so much about the NASCAR Thunder games. Like when you're just playing career mode and you've been playing all day and you just want to kind of chill, you're about to turn off your PlayStation 2, you can look at the career stats of drivers from years before. So if you're curious what Sterling Marlin did in 1999, you can look at his career stats within the game. It's amazing, some of the stats, and it shows the driver birthday and their hometown. So it helps you teach, or it helps teach you more about the drivers. That's something I feel like is missing with the current day NASCAR diecast, and something I feel like they could improve on. But if you want to read that, you could pause that, of course. But yeah, this does say 1999 Hasbro, so it kind of makes me think this could be it's almost certain, in my honest opinion, this is a very early production run of the year 2000 Monte Carlo, and that's my best guess with it. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That's all for now. What an awesome diecast, man. I love it. Diecast Buffet, signing off.